I'm Nick Shell, and if you're watching this video, there's a good chance it would imply that you have watched me perform my newest song, Spaceman. And if you somehow haven't and landed on this video randomly without even knowing about the song or hearing it, all you have to do is look at the link that I put right there. It'll take you right to the song. So anytime I write a new song, I love to explain what inspired to write it. I go through the lyrics. And so I think for this video, for this song, I'm just gonna go ahead and start with the lyrics, and then I'm going to explain afterwards. What you probably will notice about this song, if you're familiar with my other ones, I've written dozens and published dozens on this channel in a short amount of time. You're gonna see that this one has a little bit more of a darker tone, or maybe a sarcastic tone. Is it me being sarcastic, or is it me being my actual true self? And perhaps that itself is the theme of the song. So let's get to it. Spaceman. Sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come. Counting down the minutes until this thing is done. I don't want to talk about how I feel. I was ready to leave before the moment I ever got here. So I saw a t-shirt a while back that said, sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come. It's funny because there's another song that I wrote the opening line off of a t-shirt that I bought. And it says, hi, I don't care, thanks. That song's called Tripping on Existence, which you could say is very similar to this song. It's very much like a sequel to that song of some sorts. So this song also, opening line written off of a t-shirt I saw. Actually, when I was buying the t-shirt that says, hi, I don't care, thanks, that's when the other shirts you might like, that one popped up. Sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come. I thought that is a great way to start a song. So moving on to the pre-chorus here. The last thing that I need is people asking me any questions, because my head is somewhere else. It's got nothing to do with you, not your problem, not your move. Let me overanalyze my own mess. So through most of my songs, you're gonna catch a hint of the existential crisis that I'm going through, or some people would say midlife crisis. So quick explanation of this, in case you're not familiar. There's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid, which explains that most people in life are just trying to survive, food, water, shelter, etc. Then the next tier of people in life have those basic needs met, but then they're aspiring for greater things like being accepted by people and getting a better job where they can provide a little bit better, and so on. And then you get into feeling loved and accepted and respected by people, and then and of course aspiring to make more money. Well, at some point at the top, eventually, you get to a point where you have everything you need. Like even in the last song that I wrote on here, that I published, where I actually talked about this. I said, actually, let me go back to that other song. You can check out a song called I Write the Songs the World Will Never Hear. And there's a line on there that says, it says, I've got everything I would ever need. And most people never come to that realization. Now here's the thing, I'm not saying that I'm a millionaire. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that happiness, once you finally grasp it and you reach happiness, which again doesn't necessarily require a lot of money or acquiring certain things, but for me, I've been married for nearly 13 years. I have 2 kids. I live in a nice neighborhood. I like my job. Okay, I'm set, I'm good, midlife crisis begins, right? Because when everything falls in place, then what's that carrot motivating you for the next thing? So an existential crisis, you sort of freak out a little bit and think, wow, now I have all this time and space in my head to focus on things I never noticed before. So that's where my head usually is, trying to grasp the reality of things like this. Whatever your faith system is, whatever you believe happens when we die to your consciousness, whatever you believe, it's still faith to you. No one can really prove that. Not right in this instant, they can't. So ultimately, we are living our whole lives making a bet, hoping that we're right in the end, because that's faith. Otherwise, you wouldn't be believing it. That's only one of the many things that I am thinking about a lot. Thinking about just the injustice in the world. Like for example, I have a good life. Granted, I've worked hard to have everything I have in life, but man, I've got it good. If there was a lottery of the world and I could be born into this life and this body and this time, I would have won the lottery. People would have wanted my ticket, and I know that. So there's this bit of survivor's guilt almost that I am dealing with too. because I'm grateful for all that I have, but then there's almost this part of, how did I get this? I don't deserve this. I'm not better than the next person to deserve a life that's good. So yeah, there's a glimpse of what's going on in my head. Moving on to the course. I must be from another planet. I crash landed and now I'm stranded. This explains so much because I just don't understand it. I come in peace, but give me some space, man. So let me break that down real quick. So I also, in addition to the existential crisis that I'm working my way through, I also have a personality type that's called Enneagram Type 1. Look up that on the internet. But Type 1, we're not motivated by love. We're not motivated by acceptance of our peers like most people are. Instead, we're motivated by the sense of control over our own lives. So we're either wanting to be in control or at least feel in control. That's what we matter. So me, not once in my life have I ever related to the concept of peer pressure. I've never done anything I didn't want to do just because everybody else was doing it. In fact, I'm more known for doing the things that most people wouldn't think of doing, because that is my identity. That's me having control over myself and not doing what everybody else is doing to be accepted. So I'm motivated by different things. So it kind of feels like I am an alien or a spaceman. And yes, there's a play on words here. I'm talking about being from another planet. And then I say, give me some space, man. And it makes a little bit more sense in this last verse, where I say, it's not that I don't like the human race, but my tolerance is spent by the start of the day. It seems people have this fear of being alone. So why do I feel so comfortable when I'm on my own? By the way, did you catch that paradox when I say, in the course a minute ago, where I said, this explains so much because I just don't understand it. How does that even make sense? But it kind of actually does. So am I being literal when I say my tolerance is spent by the start of the day as far as dealing with people? Maybe some days. But my point is, I'm an introvert. I truly am. A lot of people struggle with that when they hear that. Like, for example, this past weekend, I was at one of my friends, they had a kid had a birthday party. So I was there, lots of people outside, 3 hours long. If you would have saw me, you would have thought I was, quote, the life of the party or whatever. I'm going around talking to everybody, people I don't know, people I do know, people I haven't talked to in a long time. That's how I am. That's what people would think. Oh, he's totally an extrovert. In reality, I'm totally not. An extrovert feels drained by people after a certain amount of time, and then they just need the rest of the day to themselves. Whereas a true extrovert is empowered by being other people. They get energized by being other people, and that's what they just love. For me, I have a tolerance, and usually it's not very much before it's gone, and then I'm ready to be by myself. I'm the kind of person who, I don't mind going to a movie by myself, going to a restaurant by myself. I spent 2 summers in Thailand in college, and I was mainly by myself most of the time, exploring the country, by myself, traveling. It didn't feel weird to me. It was okay with me. So ultimately, this probably is a song about, yes, how I felt. I wrote it right after this meeting on a Monday morning, like 8 days ago, right after this meeting ended at work. It was a Monday morning. I just didn't feel like talking. I didn't feel like being involved. I just wanted to be over with so I could get back to my work. And the moment that meeting ended, I wrote this song very quickly with less than 30 minutes. I spent part of a lunch break to do it. That event inspired this song, but that event helped me write this song so that I can understand better who I am. And if you care who I am, you can understand me better. Who am I? I am ultimately, I'm an introvert, but I have an outgoing personality. I know how to read people. I'm very insightful, but that doesn't mean that I'm an outgoing person in general. I'm actually a very private person. I like to keep to myself, and I love being by myself. You think, well, how's that possible if you're married and now you have 2 kids and you are ultimately a salesman for a living? How is that? Well, I guess it's a little bit of a paradox, at least seen. People assume that people who are shy or awkward or whatever are automatically introverts. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're extroverts for all. I'm an introvert, but I make people think I'm an extrovert based on my communication skills. That's how I'm wired. So this is ultimately a song about me being an outgoing extrovert, I guess is how I should say it. It's also about me having type 1 Enneagram personality. The thing is, and me going through an existential crisis, because I realize I have everything I need in life. And now what I do with the second half of my life, because I'm now just a couple months away from turning 40. However, I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to this song despite how specific it is to me. I'd love to know your thoughts right here.